Hey, it's the Pad Thai Podcast, and this is the coolest, illest shit on the internet, baby!
Is this thing on?
No, it's not. Let me turn it on. Okay,
There we go.
It's on.
Now we're going.
Now it's cracking.
What's up, guys? This is your favorite podcast, the Pad Thai Podcast. We're going
It's not the regular podcast, it's the
Gearcast. Because we're going nuts deep into our gear collection and going in chronological order to tell you, first of all, let's start off with saying that we do a lot of film photography and the audio, like this kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of like camera gear, and we want to start going into like film theory and videography and cinematography, and just get into that kind of stuff as a usual podcast too, away from the whole just straight comedy stuff.
So comedy. Mad comedy, kid.
And so we accumulated all our gear, and we're gonna go over it as our first. That's my wrong. We're gonna go over it as our first sort of intro into that, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about that kind of stuff before, but we want to get into like what we use, what we have, and as we accumulate more gear, we'll add to it and go over why we picked it up, what we did with it, and what we plan on doing with it.
Keep you up to date with like our gear selection.
And bring a little bit of like background and information about the products that we're getting and using.
Yeah, we've got a lot, and we've been doing it for a long time.
Over probably 12 years.
2008. Or OG YouTube.
We'll start off with that because the first videos we started doing, we actually didn't use a camera.
Nope.
Well, actually, you know what? We'll go even before that, because we used to do, like, I guess you could call them, like, Nerf battle videos.
We used to set up little tournaments, kind of, in our basement, and then battle it out, duke it out till whoever wins. We used to get, like...
Life and
Death
style.
There was probably, like, 6 people that we used to get.
And we'd
total.
videotape them, but we didn't, at that point in time, we were kind of too young to even realize that we wanted to do anything like that.
Was YouTube even really around then?
It probably was around. I don't know if it was around. Maybe it was just, what was that thing
we were
before?
really young.
What was that thing before YouTube?
I don't know anything before YouTube. YouTube is my life.
No, it was called something, I forget what it was called. Anyway, we used a camera. You want to grab it real quick?
The JVC?
It's a JVC, like mini VHS.
Compact VHS, so they're actually even harder to get a hold of.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful piece of gear.
Old.
Probably like 144p.
It was
equivalent.
sweet at the time. But we had no idea what we were doing with it. We just set it up and recorded, and it was the same camera that our parents used to do home videos and stuff with.
That's how we like got into it, really.
The JVC Video Movie GR-AX30.
This has to be. I wonder if there's a date on here. You keep talking to him while I find this freaking date.
We used
September 1994.
So that was made before I was born.
Just before you were born.
Just before I was born.
This still works.
It still works, but it doesn't work very well.
Hey.
It's nothing. It works. It's just nothing compared to what we could use now.
Yeah,
It'd be so hard just to convert mini compact VHS to be able to put it onto a computer.
You have to put it onto a VHS, put it into a DV or like a VHS burner
to DVD burner, and then put it into the computer. Probably,
yeah.
They might make converters that go from it, but it wouldn't be very worth it to invest in something like that.
You can just put a filter on your 4K footage and make it look just as grainy and strange, but crisp, like new cameras can be.
But then to get into the next version, once we actually realized that, hey, we like making videos, we ended up coming home one day on a vacation and having an idea for a video that we wanted to put up on YouTube, because YouTube was starting to become like a thing that more people knew about.
This was the end of 2009.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Beginning of 2010, end of 2009. It was December.
And Freed had a laptop with a with a webcam on it.
I did.
A laptop with a webcam on it and 3 gigs of RAM.
And it was 240p.
And we recorded with that. And not only did we record stationarily with that, you know how normally laptop batteries die over time and you end up having to plug them in forever?
Yeah.
Well, we would mobily use the laptop as a video camera while it was plugged in with extension cords.
Yep.
To record and then edit the videos.
Sadly, it was actually higher quality than the VHS. And it was also so much easier.
And at that point in time, it was decently quick, too.
Yeah, it being only 240p, it was pretty much editing with a breeze. We used Movie Maker.
Yeah, Movie Maker. First. And then we ended up
downloading the free trial of Sony Vegas.
And
just keep reusing the trial.
Yeah, we kept redoing the trial from Sony Vegas, and that was the pinnacle. And then we sort of started increasing. Our parents picked up a Canon PowerShot SX20 IS.
IS just means image stabilization.
Image stabilization.
Yes.
This thing was gold at the time.
It also was not the next camera.
Which one was it?
It was my Kodak. The sports cam.
Oh, yeah. It was like a GoPro, but in a
crappier
sort of old
and
cell
way
phone.
Cheaper.
Yeah. You remember the old Samsung slider phones? It was about that size.
What was it called? It was called the Sports Shot or something like that. It did 1080p video.
Yeah, and we used to use that to do video game commentary.
Oh, God. I still have some of it. Don't worry. We're not going to watch any of that on the podcast.
Yet. Once we start doing videos, we'll put it up.
Oh, God. That's really embarrassing.
But we would record it. We had a really crappy old tripod. And we would record the screen by placing the camera about 4 feet away from TV, and
just recording Call of Duty.
Recording Call of Duty with
absolute
us talking
garbage.
over it. We didn't do a voiceover. We talked while we were playing, so you could hear the clicker moving, and us pressing buttons and such.
That was fun. I enjoyed doing that a lot.
Especially at the time, because we were just like, we were very young and...
12?
Yeah.
I was 12 or 13. You were 14-ish.
And,
so we weren't even in high school at this point. Like,
no.
We were just having fun on YouTube.
Early middle school. You might have still been in like...
I was definitely in middle school when I started on YouTube. Actually, was I even in...
I think
2008.
I think you were in fifth grade when you started.
2008. I was just about to go into middle school. I'm pretty sure, because that's when we first started with pivot movies.
But we won't get into that because we didn't need any gear for that. We just used the computer and the application Pivot to make stick figure animations.
Also, we can't find our channel.
Yeah, we put out a ton of videos, but we can't find the channel anywhere.
Yeah, it probably has 2 views and 1 subscriber. But
what was the next one? Was it your GoPro? Did you
get
the GoPro before?
No. We got this one next. The PowerShot
Okay, so we
next.
are on to the Canon PowerShot SX20.
This one was only 720p, but it was significantly higher
image quality.
because of the sensor size.
The sensor size, which increased the dynamic range, gave us a lot more. And then obviously Canon covered color science is very good.
Okay.
Color science being the colors that the camera represents the world as.
Really nice. It's still actually not bad. It's not a bad camera. You could get
terrible.
away with it. If you're a beginner YouTuber, you could get away with a cheap, crappy PowerShot easily today.
Something like that. But the only disadvantage is the fact that you can't change the lens out for a different lens.
Yeah, that does suck.
Which is what? So right after that, you must have gotten the GoPro then, because did you? I think you got the GoPro before the T2.
The T2i, yeah, I got it before the T2i.
And at that point in time, we got really into like the whole look of the GoPro too, because this was when GoPro, like, essentially a couple years after it first came out.
This was the Hero 2 or 3?
I think it was the 3.
3.
And
we got the black edition.
Yeah, and we got really into the fisheye look of it because it was new and looked kind of weird and cool, and
it was when fisheye was literally all the rage.
Yeah, fisheye.
Everything was fisheye.
Everybody was doing, like, everybody from like Tony Hawk was doing a bunch of fisheye, like, skateboarding videos and stuff like that.
But they weren't really our direct inspirations on YouTube. Honestly, our direct inspiration was Freddie W.
Oh yeah, Freddie Wong.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do YouTube anymore. He's too big.
He's Netflix, right? He got a Netflix
Hulu.
deal.
I thought it was Hulu.
He got one of the big deals.
He got a big deal with
Corridor and Freddie.
Yeah, but that's not. We didn't first start watching them. I think.
But once we got
we
hit right here, once we got to the PowerShot, we started making like action videos.
Yeah.
That they were definitely my number one inspiration. 2011. They started making some crazy videos, like stuff that you would think only would be in movies.
And the PowerShot has it's a 5 to 100 millimeter lens with a f-stop, which is the amount of light that comes into the lens, of a 2.8 to a 5.7.
That's actually not bad.
For a camera like this, that's actually pretty decent. Lets a lot of light in it wide open. It had image stabilization built onto it. It was a pretty solid camera for the time.
Yeah.
But we started learning more, and we started looking into everything, and we found
the T2i.
We found cameras that had removable lenses. And removable lenses meant we could get different focal lengths. We could get different light outputs and different looks, because every lens manufacturer has its own look.
They have characteristics that make them their own, really.
Yeah, and different looks, different color profiles. Some of them shoot yellow, some of them shoot with a magenta tint. Tit.
Yes.
And that's when I think you got
the T2i.
The T2i, and then your first lens. It came with a kit lens, an 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens.
I didn't use that very long.
No, he didn't. We didn't use that very long because he ended up getting a 50 millimeter.
The Nifty 50.
Nifty 50.
The 50 1.8.
Mm-hmm.
The plastic fantastic. I got it for on sale. It was $89.99. And I thought that was like the investment. I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous to spend this much money on a lens. Fast forward to now. But that camera we got directly because Corridor Digital said the T2i was a great camera. Don't bother with the T3i. You don't need that. It's the same image quality.
We were looking around for a little while to try to figure out which one we wanted to go with, and Canon just seemed to be the best one, and everybody was using them. Yeah. Everybody was just using them all the time for everything. Mm-hmm. So asked for that, ended up getting a T2i, and then the 50 millimeter, and then after that, not too long later even, because of that whole stint where we were into the fisheye thing, he got a
Rokinon 14 millimeter? What was it? Yeah, 14 millimeter 2.8. I still use it today. Some of my Lux and Tux videos are actually shot on this until recently.
It's a very solid lens.
The build quality is great. It was a pretty decent investment for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I think it was like 240?
300.
$300 about?
Yeah.
So not too bad.
When I first started working
For a
at
lens, not too bad.
Wendy's, I was working at Wendy's when we got it.
And it was a big investment for that.
That was like a month's worth of work. I think before this, I actually got my shoulder rig, though.
Oh yeah. It was a newer shoulder. It was some off-brand shoulder rig.
Something I got off Amazon for cheap. It was like $70 or $80.
And it did its job.
Yeah. I couldn't complain.
It was a good shoulder rig for what it was. Especially at the time, we didn't want to put a ton of money into it because we didn't know if it was what we wanted to really do a ton.
Also, we didn't have the money.
Yeah, we were young and
broke and like poor and like broken poor and so broke and poor. We thought it was gonna be more of we're investing in props and airsoft guns because we were super into the whole like
action
movies and stuff.
And that's when we really started. I had a friend that lived pretty close to us, and he liked to shoot videos too. And then Freed had a friend that was close as well that liked to shoot a lot of films. So we went out and shot a bunch of films.
We just
porno films.
Yeah, pornos. Yeah, we just kind of like felt it out at like that time. We shot as much as we could all the time. Whenever our friends could do something, we did it. It was usually we were trying to like upload regularly. It wasn't because of how much editing it was, and we didn't really have this most solid editing rigs.
No, because Freed still was using the 3D. No, you're
not the laptop at that. Once we started with the T2i, I couldn't even offload the footage onto the laptop.
Oh yeah,
that's when I built my little computer.
Yeah,
that was
Phenom 3.
No, Phenom 4.
Phenom 4 560 Ti, 8 gigs of RAM, and a few SSDs.
3 SSDs.
3 Mushkin SSDs.
Trash. Absolute trash. 120 gig SSDs.
And a 4 terabyte spinning disk regular hard drive.
But that was the first actual like decent editing rig.
And it was really good at the time. Because that was when the 560 Ti first came out. It may have been a little bit after it came out.
Probably like 6 months after it came out, but not too far after.
Yeah, this was... they weren't coming out with new GPUs every single year like they are now.
They weren't coming out with as much of a difference.
Yeah.
It wasn't... Like, back then, you could get away with not upgrading for a couple of years. Now, if you're upgrading your camera, you really need to upgrade your PC. Like, I really should be looking into upgrading because it is bogged way down.
But we're not at that point yet.
No, I'm just saying in general, computers.
Next was
the iCup follow focus and Mapbox.
iCup? That's what it's called?
The thing that you put onto the viewfinder.
Yeah. It's called an iCup. Oh, iCup.
An iCup.
I thought you meant like that was the brand. I've completely forgot about that.
No, it's ICUP.
Yeah. But it wasn't on the viewfinder. That was on your LCD.
Yeah.
That magnetized to the LCD. It's essentially it's so that you can look into the back of the camera and see the 3-inch LCD that comes on the back of the camera a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a magnifying glass for it.
Yeah, that helped out a little bit. it was all very, very bottom barrel cheap stuff. We were doing this on the tightest budget because we're like independent filmmakers.
And again, we were
you know,
really young.
Yeah, very young. This was high school time.
He was working, I was working at McDonald's and he was working at Wendy's.
Yeah. And then, God, we used that for a long time. The NX1 we used for a long time. Or, I mean, the
T2i.
I just spoiled it.
You spoiled the next. You spoiled the second.
In 2014, the year I graduated, I got the Samsung NX1. And that was...
It was 2015.
2014.
It had to have been. Because I only started working at Best Buy in 2015.
Oh my God.
And you got it during that time period.
So I had already had the gimbal? No, I got the gimbal after I graduated college.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And you just spoiled another piece of gear.
That's fine. We'll eventually get to it.
Now, also, mind you, we didn't really look into a lot of the other aspects other than just video quality. So we had no idea about lighting. We had no idea about audio at this point in time. We had no idea about any of that stuff and how
dynamic range
important it was for your overall. Because audio can make or break a video.
I didn't know that.
And neither one of us did, and we didn't really put out the best audio because we were using internal audio on a camera that had essentially no microphone.
The T2i microphone internally was so bad. Even just like the worst quality lavalier mic would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like a $10 lav mic up to like your phone or something would have been fine. But we didn't think of that.
After because I think you got the Rode microphone before that.
I did.
Before you got the...
That was T2i time.
Yeah. And the Rode microphone, really, we didn't know a lot about... Like I'm saying, we didn't know a ton about different types of mics and...
Directional.
What preamps meant or any of that kind of thing. So we were using internal preamps on cameras with a 3.5mm jack Rode. What is that, Video Mic Pro?
I don't even think the Pro is newer. This is just the original Rode video mic.
And it really upped the quality of the audio.
It upped the quality significantly, but it still was not good.
Yeah, there was still a lot of static in it, noise that we had no idea how to remove either.
Or negate, like not have.
Now we were using Adobe at this point in time.
Yes, I was doing all of the editing in After Effects.
In CS 5.5?
CS4. No, yeah, it was 5.5.
Well, we started on CS4 and then went up to CS 5.5.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember what my idea was with editing in After Effects, because Premiere Pro is the editing software.
Well, Premiere Pro was the timelining software.
No, it's the editing software. After Effects is a comping software.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was thinking. It just made my life absolute torture.
Pinwheeling everything.
It was, yeah. I can't imagine what the point of me doing that would be. And then, what's next? Is it an excellent?
I'm going to have to assume so. Because after that, we didn't really do anything for a little while. Didn't really compile any new gear, equipment. Freed was still using the old tripod. I mean, to be honest, he still is using the old tripod legs.
Old legs.
Not the head. The head is new, but the legs are still the old legs, and it can't really handle the weight anymore.
Not of my new one.
But we'll get into that in a second. And I think the next thing that we got was the NX1.
Yeah, the Samsung NX1, and this was a game changer for me.
It was crazy. It was nuts. It did 4K. It had ridiculously good for the time frame. It did cinema DN, or it did oh my gosh, why can't I think of it? It did 4K DCI, which is a wider format than UHD. We tend to personally like or DCI a lot more than UHD.
It's just more versatile. You can frame it easier.
And this had way more dynamic range than the T2i.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was a nuts upgrade, and it's still a very good camera too.
I only switched recently.
They both have the same sensor size, but the image quality is nuts.
Yeah, even for today's standard, honestly,
and it's a 5-year-old camera.
There's only a few cameras, in my personal opinion, that beat this ergonomically and like bitrate wise, like quality wise. For the size of the files, it's really good.
It was nuts. In terms of actual video quality, it outperformed the Sony. This is when the Sony A7
and the GH4.
This was when the Sony A7 and the GH4 first came out, and Sony and Samsung were having a pretty epic battle, going back and forth with their cameras. Then Samsung just sort of dropped all their cameras, which was kind of really hate it, because they could have made a sick full frame camera. If they made an NX2, if they made a full frame camera, it would have been nuts. This thing was crazy good.
The way they developed it was insane, because the layers of the actual sensor are different than most setups are. It's backwards. It's actually better in low light because of that. And I loved the camera. I still love it.
It's mostly a photo camera now.
Yeah.
And
I don't care about it as much anymore. So I will bring it out into the woods. I will bring it to more places so I can take more pictures in like crazier places. I'm paranoid about dropping things and breaking things. So I kind of have been babying it for the last few years. It's in mint condition. I was going to sell it when I first got my new camera, just because I'd like to recoup some of the money that I spent. Kind of went overboard. But I can't get myself to get rid of it. It's too good. The pictures are awesome.
You haven't gotten rid of any of your cameras.
Nope. The only camera I've gotten rid of is my original laptop camera.
That's because it was trash. It did not turn on anymore.
Yeah, the computer
and
was
you could
corrupted.
kind of say you got rid of your Kodak too, because we have no idea.
I have it in the other
Oh,
room.
you found it?
I found it.
Nice. So you literally have only gotten rid of the one cam. The only thing, because it legitimately broke.
Yeah.
And
a camera lover.
I think right after that is when we started really finding out about camera stabilization.
Yep.
And looking into that heavily, and we ended up going with the
DJI Ronin.
MX.
Nope. This is the actual full Ronin.
And
16-pound load, baby.
He didn't really use it for much until we got asked to do a music video.
Yep.
And then
it's
I got my first legitimate camera.
Right before the music video.
I got it for I was planning on getting this camera. I got it through Panasonic. It's a Panasonic GH5. The thing was nuts when it first came. 422 internal 10-bit at 400 megabit per second.
I mean, even in today's standard, it's nuts.
It's still going strong. I still use it. I want to upgrade soon to we're thinking about going with a little bit bigger of a camera.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, later. And
It is bonkers.
the thing is nuts. And my first lens that I got for it was also a little bit
a little bit OP.
OP. I picked them both up at the same time, and I picked up the GH5 and I picked up a Vedra cinema lens.
It sounds silly when you say it like that.
And that's when we first used a full rig for a shoot, for a legitimate shoot. One of his buddies that's in a band wanted to do a music video, so we went to a beach and shot a music video for him. We threw the GH5 and the Vedra on his gimbal.
Mm-hmm.
And we also did some side shots with the Samsung NX1 too.
It just does not match up because of the dynamic range.
The dynamic range difference in terms of, and the weird thing is normally you get better dynamic range with a bigger sensor, but the GH5 has a micro four thirds sensor, which is about 0.5.
It's slightly smaller.
Less.
People aren't going to know exactly how small it is. It's a small sensor in comparison to an APS-C. Or even a full frame.
It's about half the size of a full frame sensor.
Yeah.
It's 2 times crop of a full frame sensor. And, but it did really well. We got,
especially in the sunlight. Oh my God.
I was a little bit aggravated just because I literally just gotten here from a 12 or 14 hour drive from, Michigan.
Yeah.
And Freed was a little aggravated because he did not sleep at all the night before because he was worried about the shoot.
Yep.
And we drove 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
To film
to
at
a nice
beach. Yeah. With a cool little old church that was off to the side of it.
For our first time ever using a gimbal and the first time ever even using the camera, I think it came out good.
And now, mind you, you can look up these gimbals, and the gimbal that we were using isn't one of those one-handed ones that you control with a thumbstick.
Yeah.
It's a two-handed, three-axis gimbal that you control with a
cell phone app.
No, we used the remote control.
Oh yeah, it does have a remote control.
We were using the remote control to control it. It does have a cell phone app too that you can use. But we were using the remote control because we wanted to really settle that in. But the hard thing was we didn't have monitors at the time.
I was just about to say we didn't have a monitor, huh?
I was doing the
remote viewing.
And Freed was I wasn't. I was looking at the back of the camera, essentially through your legs.
Oh my God!
At the 3-inch screen to try to get critical focus off of that.
Dude, why didn't we just spend that $150 on a stinking monitor?
And then soon after that, I started getting into a couple more lenses. I got 25 millimeter, which now on a micro four thirds lens, you're dealing with crop factors. So comparatively to a full frame camera, a 25 is a 50 millimeter. So it was the nifty 50 of mine, and I use that for a lot of shoots. I actually use that I've sold a lot of pictures using that lens.
Still a great lens.
Yeah, it's the lens that I like to travel with because it's plastic and cheap.
Plastic fantastic.
And then I started getting, I went to a couple camera shops and found a couple of old M42 screw mounts, which are mounts that are, it's literally screw threads that screw into the camera. But obviously you can't use that on a newer camera. So you have to adapt it. So I got an adapter for that, and I have a couple, I'd say about 3 or 4 lenses that are M42 mount. I have one Schneider old M42 and a Carl Zeiss, and then 2 just off-brand like Russian lenses just for the look. Gives it a more filmic look. And that was really it. for me at that point. Oh, I got I ended up picking up my first really nice tripod.
Ooh, the Benro.
It was a Benro. And the reason I got it was because I wanted something that I could grow into. And all of their stuff works with everything else that they have. So I could easily just buy a decent set of legs with a okay tripod head and then get a new, better tripod head and upgrade the legs, which I have been doing. Then...
What happened next? You got a couple accessories for the GH5, didn't you? Besides lenses? Not really.
Not really.
You're more into photography than I am.
Well, I like cinematography too. I would love to get more into like
Storytelling and
videos,
stuff.
but there's just there's
People.
more of a living in photography
Yeah.
right now, and I also don't. I just found more people that in my area that do videography, so I want to start. We started writing scripts, and I want to start start getting into it a lot more.
Yeah. YouTube. You gotta make your own YouTube channel, you know that.
Well,
we should make a
have
pad thai one.
We have the Wolfgang Cinematics one.
Yeah, but
and then we'll add a pad thai one too, because we do want to start uploading video footage of this.
I mean, even if we just upload the audio and put like a screen in the background or whatever, just do something fun.
Picture of our nuts or something.
Yeah, super close up, high res picture of our nuts. What's the next thing? Do I say it?
Yes.
Well, this was a very recent purchase. I got myself
one of the coup de grace of full frame technology.
It is beautiful. I got a Panasonic S1, and it is God's gift to cameras, honestly. It's so good. It is a full frame sensor with insanely high-end 4K footage. Hopefully soon they'll, unlock it to do ProRes RAW. Yeah, you hear me. ProRes RAW needs to be unlocked. Because I also got a Ninja V with it.
This kid, he found two ridiculously good deals in a row on eBay. He found the Lumix S1 that came with a full cage and
top handle and side handle.
Top handle and side handle, and a Ninja Atomos Ninja V, which is an external recording device. For less than the price of the actual camera, and it had only been used
for one shoot.
For one or two shoots.
One shoot for 3 days.
You know what we did miss?
What?
Your audio equipment.
Oh, crap. We'll do that after the camera.
Okay.
Because we're already into it. Yeah, it's a small rig cage with a top handle and the wooden side handle. I got, along with it, the Ninja V with a
500 gig
SSD. Yeah. And also, like, an NPF battery. But that's whatever. What else? It's basically the cinematography god of modern day. Are you looking at what the model number is? MKE 600. Or MKH?
The thing is nuts. It's essentially my camera full frame. The only thing that I've got over him is 400 megabit per second, 4K internal recording.
But I have external recording
and two UHS 2 internal slots, where he has, which is a new type of SD card that is faster at recording.
But it's not as fast as the
SSD
slot
or the
in
SQD.
SQD and an S. It's an XQD and a UHS 2, which is bonkers. I just don't want to spend the money on one of the XQD cards just because I don't particularly care. I have a Ninja V, so it's whatever.
We did forget two big parts that were in between there.
Sadly, yes.
We
Massive
forgot the audio, because we started really getting into audio bit rates, audio recording styles, and formats, and how to increase our output and make it as easy as possible to edit and
just make the quality clear and concise.
Great audio, which is where the first big thing came in.
This was actually right after Zach got the GH5.
Yep.
It was about, I would say, 6 months after that point. So this was like I think it was Christmas of 2017.
Yeah, I picked up a MKH 600 for Freed for Christmas.
It's changing my life.
It's nuts. It's like the epitome of ridiculous shotgun microphones.
I'm super into the shotgun microphone because it's very directional, and that is basically how I shoot everything.
It's really good for action video content.
And it's good for movies because I also have a huge boom pole that goes with it. So it's very versatile for getting audio on location as well. So I got that, and I couple it with a Tascam DR60D Mark II. And that made the quality
go from to
what the hell
to finna nut.
Because before that it was an XLR to 3.5 millimeter jack, and I didn't exactly know why it sounded like crap. I was like, I have a really nice microphone now. Why does it sound like crap? But it's the mix or the preamps in a camera that just suck. They're just not great.
Yeah, they're not designed for... There's a lot of circuitry and electronics within the camera very close to each other, and you really need isolated preamps.
Yeah, too much
in
noise.
order to get a noiseless audio.
And this...
Or as close to noiseless as you can.
This is 24-bit WAV recording straight to a high-end microphone, so it is crispy cream up in this biome. And is that pretty much it?
That was the first part of the two things that we missed. We also missed lighting setups. Because lighting is also very important for getting good, clean image quality. Because you can have one of the best cameras in the world. Most of them are not good at night shots.
Besides, obviously, my S1.
Even that, if it's pure dark,
it's
still
perfect.
gonna be
still.
Yeah, sure. But what is it? If you light a shot well, then you'll get the best image you possibly can.
Yeah,
and you'll get a good look to the quality, and you'll be able to. You can change the focus point.
You can grade it different.
You can change the focus point of a scene just by changing the light. You can completely change it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started investing in more lights. We got ring lights for the front of the lenses.
That was first. We got the ring lights.
Yeah, that was
the first thing because Freddie W.
And then I got an aperture.
Nope.
Yes,
that's not first.
Yes, that was the first one I got.
Before the softboxes?
Yeah, I got that before the softboxes.
Oh, okay.
I only had one though.
Okay.
I got one little. It's a 6x4 light. I don't have it on me, so I don't know the actual model name. But it was like a 6x4 inch light that is for the top of the camera in the shoe mount.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
and I picked up the ring light and because the ring lights are aperture too.
Yeah.
We picked up the ring lights and the top mount light at the same time, and later on at Christmas. At about Christmas time, Freed picked himself up a 3-light kit and got me a 2-light kit.
So then we had a bunch of soft boxes.
Yeah, softbox kits, not video light. They're for
They're
video.
video, but it's more of a photography thing.
Yeah, they're soft boxes to give you, because the larger your light source is, the softer the light will be on you.
Yeah. It's diffused.
It's a diffused softbox. And then I picked up a few later on, a little bit later on. Now this is way before the S1, and after I picked up the GH5.
Yeah, you had the GH5 for a bit.
Picked up the couple Gearcast square video lights.
The 1x1s, right?
1x1. Well, no, one's the LED 500s. Gearcast light, bi-color Gearcast lights.
They're really good lights.
Yeah, they're super powerful, big, and they run on batteries, so we could run and gun with them. We could do outdoor shoots with them without having to carry power around with us, just batteries. I guess you're carrying power around with you at that point.
Yeah,
but
power is batteries, but
yeah,
you don't need
a generator.
Yeah, you don't need anything crazy.
And then one year I got Freed. We've been slowly building up Friedrich's video lights too.
Oh God, what are mine? Viltrox L116Ts.
He's got 3 of those.
3 of those, and I still have the 3 lights. I just don't use that. I only use 1 softbox because I like using the 3 harsh lights and then a softbox to kind of like smooth out the image, because most of what I do is studio work and I like having it evenly lit, and that really helps me out. That softbox kind of saves all 3 of them, honestly.
And like I said, we're gonna go into like cinema theory and videography and in future videos, but right now we're just sort of trying to go over
what we have,
yeah,
basically.
And before we go into the next bit where we go over a couple of extra things, we'll get our sponsor at Read Ad out of the way.
Read Ad out of the way.
Our reading advertisement.
Yes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and roll it.
And we're back.
Woo!
And wow, man, that was a smooth ad, wasn't it?
The smoothest ad you could ever dream of.
I felt like I was drinking a smoothie.
I feel like I was drinking a freaking ice cold beer on the beach.
So to get back into it, though, I mean, we're gonna go post and S1 again here. He found another ridiculous deal. One other thing that came with the camera was oh no, it didn't. You picked up a Sigma L. So the mount on this camera is an L lens mount.
Yeah, it's Leica.
So Leica. We don't have the
Money.
budget to buy $4,000 Leica lenses.
Especially if I
2,000
want a
or
lot
4,000.
of them.
Yeah. So he picked up. We already had a few EF lenses.
Yep.
And EF is huge. They have the biggest lens line ever. So he picked up a Sigma L lens to EF teleconverter.
The MC21.
MC21, and it allows you to maintain autofocus.
Yep.
So
it's electronic.
So the next big crazy thing that he got on a ridiculous deal on eBay, the lens looks almost
mint.
perfect.
Mint,
and it
for
was
sure.
on eBay for half the normal price that it is.
It's an $800 lens.
That it's the 17-40 Canon f4L lens.
Yep. It's a redinky donk. It's... I could probably use it for like vlogging and stuff, but this camera would be way too heavy.
The camera is way overkill for anything that vlogging would be needed for. Which is why he kept the Samsung NX1.
Yeah.
It's a super light camera that you can just put anywhere. And
great for landscapes, great for basically outdoor shooting. It's more tailored for outdoor shooting, but this studio work is just going to be so clear because there's less distortion.
Mm-hmm.
The Rokinon was Distortion City.
But that's what it served its purpose back in the day, and it still serves its purpose because it allows us to get unique shots close up too with that kind of a fisheye perspective.
Yeah.
So it's got its place in the gear kit still.
I'll never get rid of that lens. I'll probably keep this forever. Honestly, I'll probably never get rid of any of my cameras because I'm going to make a camera room.
And once he got his sort of rig, I was like, man, I really like this cage on his camera.
Yeah.
And I've got a battery grip on my camera too, which makes it a little larger. So I ended up getting... I was like, man, it makes it very versatile because you can add anything to the sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked up a cage for my camera just so I could put whatever gear I needed on it, throw it on the tripod, and make it into a rig, a cinema rig.
You can add monitors and keep... Because you get one hot shoe
On your camera.
on your camera. If you want to add stuff, you need a cage. So he got the cage, and now he should be able to have a microphone, a monitor, and some other, like a couple other things if he needs
Beer holder.
Dude, you're going to have a keg on that thing.
And another one of the pieces of gear we picked up because we wanted to be able to get, essentially, he's got a slider too.
Yeah.
But we wanted to be able to get slider shots where we can't get... Where we don't really need to pull out the big slider, and we don't have a lot of room for it. So I picked
You're also constricted by
Yeah.
what you can do. It's straight.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
And so I picked up a roller for the tripod.
Haven't used it yet.
We picked it up specifically with a certain shot in mind. And it'll add a lot of versatility to the kit too, because it'll give us the ability to get smooth rolling shots without being constricted to a single plane, like a single axis. And we won't need to pull out the gimbal and re-weight it and everything like that for that kind of a thing. Whereas, like, if we're going for a lengthy photo shoot, obviously we're going to use the gimbal and weight it because we can use it all day at that point. But it just mounts to the bottom of the tripod. It gives it rollers. So not only can I put it on my tripod, I could also put it on my light stands and roll and have rolling lights, which I might pick up a couple more of these things just for
It is pretty cool. I like that a lot. I'm thinking about maybe getting my own, but I need a better tripod first.
Well, you just need better legs.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't mind. The head is fine. I got a decent head.
Fine.
I get pretty decent head on there.
Yeah, you get a lot of sloppy toppy.
That best dome.
Man.
We picked up some more accessories too for my S1. I got the K&F. What is it? ND2 to 32.
Yep, the one with the new coatings on it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be scratch resistant. It's supposed to be
water and oil resistant.
Super clear too.
Yeah.
Weatherproofed.
And the thing you want to do, especially with those, is you don't want to go out and get get them for every single lens because that gets expensive. So what you do is you find your biggest lens or the biggest lens that you ever would want to buy.
Yeah, what you're planning on, yeah.
And we're talking about so these screw onto the front of your lens. You want to find the biggest lens that you would ever want to get and get that size and then adapt and then just buy a bunch of adapters for your other lenses so that you can just screw that one onto your other lenses. Otherwise, because the adapters you can get for pennies.
Yeah, it's super cheap.
But the
or you mean the step-up rings?
The step-up rings.
Yeah, they're so cheap.
And like filters.
Filters can get expensive.
Yeah, they can get ridiculously expensive. So you don't want to be spending thousands on filters when you could be saving that money and spending it on other gear that you might need.
You gotta be smart with your monies.
There's and there's like they're just, in terms of cameras, the reason we didn't really upgrade until now is because they're just like, you don't want to just buy a camera just to have a camera.
Yeah,
You
and
want to be
also
smart with it. You going from Micro Four Thirds and APS-C to full frame gave us a lot more flexibility. So it was kind of a good investment in order to future proof the rig.
yeah, and this, for a long time to come, I'll be able to use, if this is not my main camera, it will definitely be in the case.
Yeah.
It will be good for a long time, unless somehow Blackmagic makes this 12K camera super affordable.
Or under.
I mean, it is sick. That is pretty dope.
Yeah.
It's 10 grand for a 12K camera. PL mount, so it's kind of lame, but kind of dope.
PL mount is like a really old ARRI lens mount that came out probably, I don't know, like over 30 or 40 years ago. It's non-electronic. You don't get any lens data from it, and
it's a cinema.
Yeah,
it's a cinema.
It's specifically
it's not for
cinema,
autofocus.
I don't even think the new ARRIs use it.
Can't you get EF on ARRIs now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have their own new mount too. That's electronic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just, incrementally upgrading. We're having a ton of fun making everything, really. I love YouTube. Lux and Tux is my little baby.
We want to get into more like bigger projects. Like we want to do some film festivals and stuff like that to get
definitely
more into the
storytelling.
Into it and storytelling.
We have ideas.
Yeah.
We just
a bunch of ideas written down and some scripts we're working on.
Being held back by whatever we have.
Well,
whether it be distance.
Distance is really our biggest thing because he lives in Massachusetts and I live in Michigan, Michigan.
Yeah, I mean the distance is a huge thing. Also, like vacation time.
Yeah,
we both work
full-time
jobs, so it makes it pretty hard to get the same time off because we're so far away, and then we have to make the distance work. So either we're flying to each other or driving,
or drinking a lot of Pinot Grigio,
Pinot Noir. But we definitely want to step it up, maybe make some more stuff. Hopefully enter, for sure. I want to try film festivals. Dude, imagine even just having it shown to a bunch of people in a film festival. That would be really cool. I'd love to see an audience reaction in real time.
Especially to our old, what was it, gangster?
Huh?
The gangster videos?
Oh, God, I can't remember the name.
Our Nerf
Gangsta movie.
Gangsta movie 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Seeing some artist reactions to that.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any of those. I deleted them.
Permanently, for sure.
They were just stupid kid videos.
But what we want to do is eventually we want to start going over like new camera gear that's coming out, new gear that we want to get and why, camera gear that we purchased and why, and like theory, like how to write a script.
People can like tell us what their thoughts are on what we're trying to buy, which would be really helpful. Maybe you guys can steer us clear of certain things that maybe you've had and give us your feedback.
Yeah.
So eventually we'd like to be a little bit more interactive with like
the audience. Specifically, like right now we're doing Instagram and we read it all. We read everything. If we get comments or anything, we read it, and you can also leave like voicemails essentially on our Anchor. So if you check us out through Anchor, you can leave us a voicemail or something through it. Yeah. And you just do that by downloading the app in the App Store. Other than that, we're on essentially all other platforms.
Grindr, Tinder, Hinge, Minge, Cringe, and
Binge.
Binge. Yes, I love to binge eat Taco Bell at 1 a.m. Thank you all so much for watching. Watching and listening. Obviously, because this is on YouTube.
And it's Gearcast.
It is Gearcast. I had a lot of fun with this.
You know what I just realized? We also used to have audio. Our audio company too was
Gear
called
Audio.
Gear Audio.
Yeah. Audio company. We literally did nothing with it.
It was just us. Well, we started to compile a
library.
A library of audio noises, and trying to make our own cinema noises.
We didn't
visual.
even have a real microphone.
No, we were using the Rode, and that didn't turn out too well. But now with this one, maybe we could bring Gear Audio back.
Maybe.
Anyway,
that's a hard maybe.
Yeah, anyway, that's us signing off on this episode of the Gearcast.
Yeah, we'll make sure to bring us back.
Time. Oh yeah, we'll be talking about it more.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
And our experiences with the equipment that we purchase.
Yeah, I want to let you know how this S1 works. I really haven't used it much. Alright, peace out. Peace out.